Anthony Cumia, 107.3 WAAF. I hope you made it through that weather yesterday and last night. Wow. The ice, the snow, no one seemed prepared for it. No fender benders, no car accidents or anything like that. I got something here, though, across the wire about the mayor.
No!
Matty and Nick, weekday afternoons 3 to 7 on WAAF.
Oh, yeah, my friends. Turn it upstairs. You might recognize that voice. He needs no introduction.
My goodness.
The one, the only, Anthony Cumia.
Well, thanks, guys. This is not too freaky. Wow, man.
This is got to be like going back home. Like, your parents, disowned you. They want, that's it. The full jazz singer. They tore the shirt off. They spit on the stairs. They said, I want nothing to do with you. And now here you're back sitting down to supper again at your old table.
It really is weird. Like I said, seeing the logo and the calls and everything like that and just remembering how much that meant to me back when I was here with Opie and
right.
We were out in, where the hell was that? Westboro?
Westboro, yeah. The Route 9 studios.
Yeah, Route 9 studios. And just, the battle with BCN. And, all of that was of the utmost importance.
Yeah.
You really felt like I wore a jacket with AF on the back like I was a Hell's Angel. It was important to me.
Yeah.
And seeing it all, just bringing it right back. And, it was quite a few years ago. But, man, like I said, right back, full circle. Boy, that was a long circle.
Yeah.
That was a long circle.
A lot has happened.
I thought maybe that would have been the title of the new book instead of Permanently Suspended, but both fit.
Permanently Suspended, the new book, which I read in 24 hours. Quick question, though, as I'm looking at this. Why'd you get Bruce Springsteen to do the cover picture?
I know.
Doesn't that look like
it
Springsteen?
Really does.
Looks like you're like, the next song is a song about the American worker.
Yeah.
1, 2. You're even doing the underbite thing.
I thought it was kind of awesome that you got Andy Garcia to do Anthony Cumia on the cover.
It is a kind of a Bruce.
Right.
Andy.
It is.
I'm going to do something about Jersey. Yeah, I'm going to really go off the page here and maybe sing a song about Wendy and Jersey. All right. Are you, Bruce? 1, 2, 3. We get it, Bruce. You love Jersey.
And we're broadcasting from a place that loves itself, itself.
Yeah.
Because the average masshole never leaves and is so in love with the area that look, I'm wearing a shirt that literally says everything's better in Boston.
Better. Me and Keith had some lunch over at the closest place to the studio over there at Lincoln's.
Lincoln's,
right across. Yeah, Lincoln's.
I've thrown up in that parking lot.
So we go in there, and there's a table full of locals.
Yeah.
And the entire time we were there, it was like a Mark Wahlberg movie. Just a heavy accent. And again, that brought me right back. But go tell your daughter to go. Yeah, we get it. We get it. Yeah, that was hysterical. I love that, the local flavor. But very cool. Very cool to be back here. I've popped back up into Boston a few times since they drove us to the Connecticut border and told us never to return.
Never.
Do you still have connections here? People, anyone that you go out of your way to come see?
Yeah, Ben Sparks. Well, he's in New York now, but he knows everything about up here. His father owns a lot of clubs and everything, so he knows Boston and a few other friends and stuff. But when most of my friends were in radio, so. They never stay in one place.
They're killing it now.
Yeah.
Because radio is alive, man. This is where the FM stands for fat money.
I saw Carrie, Mistress Carrie there in the lobby. And we had worked together back when I was at AF. So she was on, I think, the street team doing promotions.
Right.
And when we got fired, it was a great opportunity for her because she was able to move up. To on air, and she's done a great job and been here the whole time. There was John Osterland was Ozone
was so cool,
the midday guy who was just awesome.
He was
great
so
guy.
nice,
and I guess is he down in New Orleans or something?
Yeah, he does mornings. I think he's the one I told you, Nick. I got him Black Crowes tickets, and I took my at that point new fiance to the Black Crowes Ozone's sitting in front of me. He's like, hey, I never paid you, man. I'm like, oh, don't worry about it. He's like, here. And he hands me like a brick of weed.
Yeah.
And my
That's how you
fiance's
pay
like, what are
people.
you doing?
That's how you pay people in New Orleans.
I guess so.
Someone
Yeah.
you need me to shoot for you? No, it's all right. I'm fine. Ozone, that's cool, buddy.
Here's some weed.
He was the best.
Yeah, there was. So I've known a lot of people from Boston, but again, they kind of move around. And we went to New York after Well, Mayor Menino, you might remember Mayor Menino here in Boston, and we had said that he died on an April Fool's as a joke, and that was pretty much the last time I was live on the air here in Boston.
That was it, right? Until right now.
Yeah, we've
That's
done
pretty incredible.
phoners and stuff.
Right, you've
but,
called into the show.
That was it, yeah. And he was none too happy. I believe that Opie and Anthony should be fired. No. They should absolutely be fired and never set foot in the city of Boston again.
Boston.
Boston.
He didn't handle it with much grace.
I love the quarterback of the Patriots, Tom Bradley. He would get all the sports
Not a
figures
single one of them.
wrong, and it was hilarious. And yeah, we had thought it would be kind of funny to talk about his early demise, and they threw us out. We got a gig in New York.
You describe in the book, the new book, Permanently Suspended, by the way, available anywhere fine books are sold. You describe that moment, and I loved how you described it, because you had a plan to make the bit so outrageous that after you made the initial announcement, you're going to say, oh, he was in a clown car, or whatever you're going to say.
Right.
And then people would catch the fact that it was a gag, but you never got to get there because your former PD came in and freaked out, right?
That was the whole thing. Like, it was a long-form April Fool's joke.
Right.
And it was supposed to start out where people go, oh, my God, that's terrible. And then progressively the story would get even worse. Like, I don't know what he had a young boy from Taiwan in the car with him, and that was mysterious. And, like, it just was supposed to get more ridiculous. But then after we said he died in a car crash, and management came in and goes, all right, you got to stop this. It's like, no, if we stop it now, people are going to think.
Never got to execute
That it
the
happened.
gag,
Yeah,
right,
they're going to think
right.
it happened. And we
then it just
started
looks like
seeing toward the end of the show on the news crawl, a radio station prank. And that's when Opie looked over and just goes, oh, we're
We're
done.
dead. And that's
We are
the worst
done.
part, is that you didn't get to execute the funny
No.
gag, so
Right.
it just seems like a dumb thing that you said. You know what I mean? It's like,
We
oh,
interrupt this program. I'm Jack Williams. And I'm Liz Walker. Channel 4 News. Apparently, Mayor Menino has been struck dead by lightning with a young Thai boy in the car.
Yeah.
But you can't do that. But that's the thing, is you got away with so much more pushing the boundaries of FM. And this sort of goes back to and me just making fun of radio a few minutes ago. The idea that you used to be able to be like a rock star on radio.
Yep.
But now, from the fact that there's not enough new rock music to even fill an afternoon show, let alone you can't be a rock star. We friggin' celebrate YouTubers and chefs now more than we do actual bands and friggin' DJs who play the
so
bands.
true.
You can't also just have that kind of fun anymore. You have to either go to Sirius or satellite. In that case, you're like, oh, those are the outlaws. Or you come here, and then if you try to get away with any of that stuff, shame on you. You're fired, and that's the end of it.
You're fired. I was talking earlier about the FCC was the big enemy of radio. Like, you would have to work your way around the rules and regulations of the Federal Communications Commission, the government. And that was the only thing you worried about.
Right.
Anything else, as long as you didn't say the words that you weren't supposed to, and really talk about content at length of bodily functions and sexual things. I think that was all they cared about. Now, the FCC would be nostalgic and cute to have come after you. Oh, a fine? Aw, here you go. And the problem's over. Now it's Twitter. It's these advocates and activists and just bull that means nothing, but it now costs you your entire career. You're done if you.
What kind of weird reality have we created where someone, it's no longer a government organization, but some bitter guy or gal in their house with a phone in their hand can have way worse impact in your career than that agency could?
We always thought years ago that it would be a government agency, an entity. In the future, if you told someone 2018, they'd be like, oh, there's got to be floating government orbs that watch what you do and report it back. And because it's Big Brother, 1984 kind of stuff.
Right.
And then you realize, oh, my God, wait, it's us. They figured out a way to make it us ratting ourselves out.
God, you're right.
So we end up being the Big Brother and ratting each other out. The first thing someone does when someone's pulling something that could possibly get them in trouble is pull their phone out and start recording it.
Yeah.
Sure. Oh, look, and then now I'm going to post it, and you will be exiled from life. and that's exactly what's going on. We are a bunch of rats.
Yeah, we are.
We're just ratting each
and
other out.
Everyone's offended and all the feigned indignation. Oh, cool.
I'm not nearly afraid. It doesn't matter which side of the party lines you vote on. I'm not nearly as afraid of the government as I am my fellow man who thinks that they're doing either their moral, their holy high duty, or performing a civic duty by reporting a potentially offensive post or not understanding. I mean, what am I supposed to do? Put hashtag joke or hashtag sarcasm after every single effing thing that you say just to make that point or to clear yourself?
No one understands sarcasm, parody, things like that. When you say something live on the air, especially a comedy show, they read it in a transcript as if it was spoken by a doctor or a lawyer or a politician. And it's like, no, don't you understand? I'm purposely being outrageous.
Right.
I'm saying something so offensive because that's part of comedy. It always has been. But you get these people that read it as if it's gospel, and now you're held accountable for a joke. And it's definitely affecting comedy. I know a lot of comedians. My whole career has been interviewing and talking with comedians. A lot of them are scared to death that they're going to say something, and it curtails their creativity.
No doubt.
We're live right now with Megyn Kelly's defense attorney, Anthony Cumia, here on 107.3 WAAF.
All right, if you have any questions for Mr. Cumia, attorney at law, 97107 is the text line. You can call us on the Framingham Ford studio line with your questions, 617-764-WAAF. We'll talk about the future, the past, maybe a little open. We'll get to everything. Matty and Nick with Anthony Cumia. Also joining us, Boston's best comedian, Will Noonan, voted so by Improper Bostonian, correct?
That's right.
I'd hate to derail things here, but Anthony and I were just talking with Nick. Anthony and I were talking, and a news bulletin flashed across our computer. So let's do this breaking news here. We've got to do some news. We go now to the news center with Anthony Cumia. Anthony, what have you have?
This just in, we're very sad to report that Mayor Thomas Menino is still dead.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Oh. Tragic. Thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and prayers.
Thoughts and prayers. T's and P's. Welcome, Will. Welcome to the show.
Great to be here.
You do Anthony's show in New York.
We just had Will on a few days ago.
I was on.
Did you just come from an Abercrombie and Fitch shoot or something?
Yeah, I think you did.
Am I looking that way?
Yeah, a little bit.
This is a Walmart special.
Get out!
That I bought maybe 20 minutes before one of my shows. I was like, the wrinkle line had been crossed.
Yeah.
We all know where that line is. It's different for all of us.
Right. There's a fine line between looking like he didn't try too hard and just like, that guy's homeless.
Yeah.
He's looking so fresh and youthful.
Yeah.
Get right up on that.
I know. I can't even hear myself.
Get
I just
up
want
on
to
that.
steal a little bit of your
Mike
soul.
looks brand new, though. So
let's hit. There's so many
listener at
questions for you, Anthony.
Really?
Can we take some? Well, you know what?
Of course.
Let's address the elephant in the room.
Oh, boy.
Everybody's going to want to ask about, and the text line's asking about. So where do things stand with Opie?
Myself and Opie, we did radio for 20 years.
Yeah.
And I don't know who you could be in a relationship with in any capacity for 20 years without having issues. And boy, did we chalk up some issues. Because when I got fired in, I believe it was July of 2014 from Sirius XM Radio, Opie stayed on board there. And from there, it just got worse and worse. We haven't face-to-face spoken. We did a couple of phone things between his show and my show that were good-natured but a little uncomfortable and awkward. Yeah. And for the past couple of years, we have not spoken directly. We have trashed each other on our respective programs, which probably would upset a few people that were big fans of the show. But, like I said, 20 years of being around somebody every day of the week, it gets a little much.
What'd you do? What'd you do to get fired? Did you steal some office supplies? Did you break that goddamn Keurig machine again?
No, it was tweets, Twitter. Yeah.
Okay. I find it very, not to get too into it because I'm an outsider, I have no idea, but I find it very revealing the types of guys who stood behind you and call you friend. And, and that tells me a lot about the situation, if that makes sense. I don't
Yeah.
want to hammer
Why are
him,
you
but
looking at me
No,
right
no,
now?
I know.
Why are you staring at me?
Because you look so damn good.
yeah, you do.
I just want to like live in a world of Gap now.
You had an
son of a
iron.
When
bitch.
the New Yorkers come to town, I like to spaz myself up. a
Anthony,
little
any
bit.
advice you could give Nick and I to
Oh,
make
my
sure that
God.
something like that doesn't happen to us?
Spend as little time together as possible off the air.
We do.
Just do the show, leave, have your respective lives, and that's pretty much that's a very important thing. And understand that that's going to be the relationship. I think Opie was under a misconception, and I'm not going to come here on this our station that we kind of built the O&A show on
No doubt.
and trash him. That's what my show's for. But yeah, I think he had this misconception that we were always supposed to be these really tight friends. And when we were at AAF, we were close. Like every day we'd go out to eat and talk about what we were going to do on the show. I'm very excited and everything. And then over 20 years, you start getting different lives, and there are resentments in there because of your personal life, and that happens. So I think it's important to separate the personal life from the business life, even if you are friends, especially at the beginning like we were, and understand things change. Because I would get calls like, dude, you didn't call me and stuff, and I'm like, that's girl stuff.
Yeah.
That's what a girl will say. Yeah. And I'll treat you the same way. Goodbye. Just like I treated my Boston wife, Jennifer. If anybody's wondering what happened to her. Ooh,
I would recommend,
Jennifer.
if for nothing else,
and Judy, her mother-in-law. I need Grandma Ye, Anthony. We're driving to Logan Airport, but I don't make left-hand turns. I make 3 rights because that's the left. All right, Judy. Please don't drink the Gramenye while you're driving.
I love Judy.
Judy was awesome.
Judy,
She's
isn't that-
dead, too.
Isn't that's where I remember as an early listener, that's where you like, then she used to always ask you, like, you have to come in, the tub's leaking, you have to come in and put the caulk in. And
The caulk.
I need someone to caulk my tub. It's leaking, Anthony.
Because I would drive up on Christmas vacation, and she would always have something for me.
I picked up a garage door opener from Sears. Could you install it?
Yeah, it's my dream, Judy, to install your garage.
And then if you could go get some caulk.
Yes, Judy, I'll caulk your tub.
let's go to Jeff, who's been holding. Go ahead, Jeff. We're now with Matty, Nick, Anthony, and Will Noonan.
I remember that 4th of July. I remember that whole Menino thing like it was yesterday.
April Fools, yeah, that was, oh, God, the chain of events and knowing we were fired. And I was I was in construction before that, before I got into radio. So after that, we were here for about 3 years, and I thought, oh, my God, I'm back in the attic. We screwed up.
That's the worst.
I'm going back to work. That's what I thought.
Incredible.
Remember
and
O&A?
you know
That was
something?
me.
Yeah.
I remember you said it was a plane crash.
No, I think it was a car
Car,
wreck.
I think
But
car.
he remembers it like it was yesterday.
yeah.
it was lightning. It was, wasn't it lightning struck?
I
the
think
car?
it was-
I
yeah.
think this guy knows better than Anthony. I'm just saying.
It was a plane crash. And Buddy Holly was in the plane, too.
Yeah, the big bopper.
Oh, baby,
that's what I like.
He just Chris Farley'd you.
Yeah.
You have a question for Anthony? I remember.
The crazy thing is, Jeff has been sitting in the same armchair for 19 years. Like, when I get a chance to ask him this question, hold on. Quiet, Diane. Diane's dead, by the way.
The Hudson River.
I'm going to ask him. I'm going to get it right.
One day he'll be back.
He is. And I will soil myself in this chair. I will sit in a tanket of my own feces until Anthony's back on half.
Let me rephrase. If you have a question for Anthony, not that you just remember one of his bits, give us a buzz. Just kidding, Jeff. We're just balling.
That's great.
What is your?
Now, why did you apologize to Jeff? You just FM radioed us.
That's a good point.
We're
No
sorry,
apologies.
Jeff. Please don't be outraged and get us fired.
Can we get the lawyer in here? Anthony, what's your, like, when I look back on things in my past, there's always like one thing that leads off my memories. Your years here in Boston, what's the one thing that you go back to and you're like, that was great, or that's when I knew we made it, or something like a great memory you have of this area?
Oh, yeah, we had put out a couple of CDs. Those are what songs and things are on, kids. It was like this futuristic-looking shiny disc, like Star Trek. We put out a couple of those, and the first one we did, which was a Demented World, we had a signing at one of the malls here around, I think it might have been Natick or something. And we walked in, and there was a line of people, like this huge line. And we're walking up to go to the store that we have the signing. And literally, we just looked at each other, and seriously, we were like, who else is here? Like, who else is signing something? We're trying to think maybe it's a sports figure or something like that. We couldn't possibly imagine that it was for us. And it was. We got to the store, and people started cheering, and we walked in, and that's when we kind of went, oh, man, I guess people do listen when we yap into the microphones.
You also talk in the book. The book is permanently suspended, by the way, available now. There's this really inspiring moment where you talk about getting the big deal, and your lawyer, or your agent rather, just naming out these prices, these salaries. Like, tell me about that and how. I mean,
it was perfect timing, is what it was. We were in New York. We were coming up on our contract. And Howard Stern was doing mornings at K-Rock.
Yeah.
We were doing afternoons at NEW, both owned by the same company. So we knew they were never going to put us against Howard. We're the same company.
Right.
Howard mornings, us afternoons. We shared a pretty big part of the audience. So Clear Channel, who was also a different radio company, decided they wanted to offer us the morning slot. Now, Howard, huge. There's no denying how huge Howard Stern is, and especially at that time. Over at K-Rock in New York. So they offered us mornings. Now, regardless if we beat Howard or not, we didn't have to. All we needed to do was take enough listeners away from him to not make him number one anymore, and they would lose millions and millions of dollars.
Right.
So their idea was, well, pay them anything to keep them from going to mornings against Howard.
Right.
And they did. So I'm in a hotel room, myself and Opie, and our agent, the late Bob Eatman. He's driving somewhere with Menino now.
He died in a car crash with a Taiwanese boy.
I met Eatman once years ago in Philadelphia. He was like the baby doll Dixon of radio.
Yeah,
he was a great guy.
He's a great guy. Looked like Nosferatu.
He did.
But
he did. He skulked only in shadows in silent films.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're in there, and Eatman's on the phone, respectively, with a Clear Channel and with CBS Radio, who owned the station we were at, and making the deal. And the numbers that were going back and forth were the word millions were coming in. And me and Opie are staring at each other going, this is nuts. This was only a few years after we left AAF. And we were being set up now to make giant amounts of cash on a huge rock station in New York City. And it was my second job.
Yeah, every show. I was a P1. I was living in New York, broke ass, whatever the hell I was trying to do with myself. And I would listen every afternoon. And I remember Opie used to end every show saying, like, syndication now. You guys,
right.
Syndication now. And you could feel the surge. You could feel it went from just like, oh, I was listening to these guys in the afternoon, whatever, to like it was something people were talking about. People heard the bits. People knew the Tom Brokaw impersonation. People knew the Boston accent. And then when it finally happened and you guys had millions, it felt like it made everyone who was listening and people like me who wanted to get into radio thereafter, and now look at me now, it made you look like a sad Mel Gibson. It made us all
Gibson, yeah?
it made
Mel
like
Gibson, we think?
sad Gibson.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, like a broken Kennedy.
Yeah, there you go.
Guy not so smiley.
Harpo Kennedy.
Exactly. It made us all feel like we were part of something.
Yeah, because I mean, we were always really interactive with the audience,
Yes.
and
Hugely
never took them for granted. I worked for a living most of my life. By that point, a lot more than I was doing radio, so I never took it for granted, and said like, oh, this is, I was always remembering that attic and those job sites that just sucked. So I never took it for granted. It never changed me. It just made it a lot more comfortable. It was nice to be able to pay my bills.
Oh, hell yeah.
and get things.
I was going to ask that. Did you manage your money okay? I mean, I know you've
Yes.
got a beautiful house and everything.
You know what it was? And it's funny. It shows how naive I was about everything. When we were working at NEW that first year, we were making pretty good money.
Yeah.
But it was nowhere near what the next contract would be. So we still had our checks that were in our little mail cubbies at NEW. So we'd get them, open it up. I'd go to the bank, cash it, deposit, whatever, have some money for my pocket. When these giant deals came in, Bob Eatman, my agent, is like, okay, here's your finance guy now. The money's going to be directed into a PNC bank account, and then you have your Bank of America account. And I'm like, wait, what? I wanted a check every week to go to the bank and cash and crumble up the money and put it in my pocket.
Right.
And he's like, no, idiot. You don't. It doesn't work that way.
You want to do the NFL wide receiver thing.
I
right?
wanted hundreds of thousands a week in my pocket.
And then you can go home,
to go to the deli.
You're right.
Buy cars for your buddies.
Buy sneakers, get your mama a house,
Exactly.
smoke some weed,
Yeah.
get
Hook
good
up
at
your
Xbox.
He's like, no, you dummy. So he set me up with a great finance guy that I'm still with today that has invested for me. Very safe, but long-term great investment. So thank God I didn't have to worry about that.
All right, we have every line is booked. If you want to talk to Anthony, call 617-764-WAAF. I want to get fans to be able to talk to you.
Cool.
So we got to take care of some business, pay some bills. You can also text Anthony your questions 97107. We'll just keep the microphone off.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just here.
love
I'm
Will.
here in case Anthony has a stroke or something.
It's a pretty good chance of that.
Never
know. According to the book. We have Anthony Cumia in studio along with comedian Will Noonan. If you would like to get more Anthony. Ooh, that was creepy.
Yeah.
As many women in Long Island experience.
I'd like to get more into
CompoundMedia.com. AF fans use the code COMPOUND20 for 20% off of your subscription. How cool. And the book is permanently suspended. Available now. Is it available now?
The 20th, but for pre-order at Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com.
It's a great read. I read it in 24 hours.
CompoundMedia.com.
I want to move forward with the future, Anthony.
Yes, the
And,
future.
But before we do, we just asked you about the Opie thing, and on the Framingham Ford studio line right now is Opie.
Oh.
Let's go.
Wow.
Opie?
Hey, I'm so happy Anthony got his book out. That way he could put people to sleep quicker than when he was on the radio.
How dare you? How dare you?
My
Greg Hughes,
God,
how dare
Opie.
you?
Have
Okay,
some decorum.
On all honesty, I'll share my love. I haven't seen a bigger hack than a handsaw at a Carrot Top performance.
Don't know what
I
that
think
means.
he's bitter.
I think
I thought, we were pretty much hands off at this point, but
Well,
if
life
you want to go,
to turn bitter.
you want to go, brah.
Well done. Is that all you got, Opie?
Yeah.
No, I got plenty more.
Okay.
What do you
She's
Oh,
her next tell.
Apparently, you also have a T-Mobile phone. so
Obama phone.
Westwood One isn't paying the I guess.
It's the
how did he ever get the nickname Opie, by the way?
From years and years and years ago, he looked like little Opie from Mayberry.
That just
So they
straight
called
up
him
off the show.
Opie,
Okay.
and he decided to just keep using it. And it's fine up until, I guess, 28. After 28, you
Yeah.
should really even the real Opie, Ron Howard, stopped calling himself Opie.
oh,
It's almost being like 46 and being called Matty.
Matt.
And I was
Matty.
yeah, but it fits for you.
The
Like you're not a
parallels.
Matthew, not a Matt.
Well, Will just goes, you look like Opie, and
You do
Anthony's
look
like,
like-
ugh!
I was like, oh, wait a minute. No, every radio duo has the Opie and Anthony look. I don't know what that is.
They're all-
Well, we're all trying to imitate the best,
Oh,
man.
jeez.
The beard is
That's
a
it.
must in radio, like the
Yeah, these
Matty.
days.
Well, I'm just
Opie
trying to
beard.
hide my weak chin. That's why.
Is that it?
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
Yeah.
It was
have
good.
no
That was the best thing to have an Irish guy.
Why don't you?
Beard.
You want some? I got enough chin for the two of us over here,
That's
guy.
true, yeah.
You kidding
Just
me?
a striking, handsome chin.
Donnie
That's a
dimple
lot of
over
chin,
there.
a lot of
He's
chin
got,
over here.
more chin than a Chinese phone book over
Yeah.
there.
Oh, hold on one
yeah,
second.
yeah.
Let me contact the tower if I'm going to land another joke like that.
Hey, Oster.
Where can people get that kind of humor this weekend?
They can get that at Nick's Comedy Stop there tonight and tomorrow at 8 p.m.
Are you going to be at Nick's, really?
I'm there tonight.
Oh,
I'm
sweet.
going
But you
straight
think he's
from
going
here
to come in
there.
altruistically just to hang out with us? Like, there's not a plug in sight?
Just to see Cumia's return
Right.
to the AAF.
If
I'm actually going straight there, and I actually feel like that's kind of Opie and Anthony-esque. You know, they used to come rolling into the studio after partying all night.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm going to come rolling in Nick's Comedy Stop after hanging here, drinking coffee.
That was the
Mixing it up.
the studio over at NEW was just debauchery, and stuff is coming out about CBS Radio and a lot of the executives getting sued and for sexual harassment and all kinds of stuff. And I read the stories and I'm like, oh yeah, that happened.
Yeah.
I'm not. Yep.
I'd be-
Sex on the desks and drinking. And,
I'd be disappointed, though, if I heard about, like, the heyday of O&A at NEW, and it wasn't sort of like your own broadcast version of, like, Motley Crue's. Was
Yeah.
that The Dirt?
yeah.
Yeah.
It was. There were There were girls coming up on a daily basis because we had the, of course, you had to have the best boobs contest. It was the 90s. It was the law.
There would be a protest from Brighton to downtown.
Exactly.
If we did anything resembling that.
So
now.
every day, girls would come up, get in front of a banner, and take their shirt off. And Rick Delgado, who was our producer at the time, would snap pictures of them. Every day, a parade. And we would just pick and go, all right, who's taking her to the bathroom while we put on a long song? That's exactly what used to
man,
happen.
Iron Butterfly. That's the third time this week.
The live version of Green Grass and High Tides Forever? And we don't even play Southern rock.
But like every day it was like somebody savaging Voss, or like there was the time like you had like guys come in the studio that loved to have like women in high heels like kick them in the nuts and like step on the scrot, and you guys were just like boozing and loving every second of it.
Yeah, smoking, drinking, the nudity with the girls and everything, and then some of the weird stuff, the comics that were being there, Patrice O'Neill and Rich Voss, and just great guys.
Mercurio, put your goddamn clothes on, Kathleen.
Do you think if Jim Norton hadn't worked there, like he wouldn't have become the man he is today? Maybe that was the petri dish that allowed him to.
That's a good word to use when you're talking about Jim Norton. Petri dish. No, I think he would admit to that it gave him a great platform to show people how funny he is. We are great friends still. Me and Jimmy work together. I do his damn Chip Chipperson show every so often.
He did the foreword for the book, right?
Yeah, Jimmy did the foreword for my book, and he knows me probably. I would put it in order: my brother, and then Jim Norton. That's how people know me, and it's fantastic. Me and him,
you guys have
really
a brotherly kind of like when you guys are doing comedy together. It has that vibe. Like
there was always nothing better than just watching that guy just laugh his ass off for something you said. So it was very cool.
Videos of Jimmy makes Ant laugh or Ant makes Jimmy laugh on YouTube is so good.
And I think that spurred a little resentment with Opie, because as time went on, it was more me and Jimmy doing the comedy and the entertaining stuff, and Opie was the logistics guy that had to put the brakes on it because, we had to go to a break or something. And I understand that, but I think it started getting to him that most of the fans were like, oh, my God, Anthony and Jimmy today doing this.
Jamming,
And then Opie would be the one to go, all right, guys, well, we got to. So they're like, oh, why'd you stop that? Because they don't understand the logistics of the whole thing. Right.
He felt like the fun police by having to play the part of the driver.
He was the fun police, right. The fun police. Da-da-da. So I think a lot of resentment built up for that. So just a lot of things.
Little things like 4 hours a day, though. That'll build and build and
build. Do they build?
I love speaking of Jimmy, the intro in the book, he talks about your comedy and how you keep everything in a bin and nothing's off limits. Listen to this, Nick. I love this. And this is what we need more of. This is what we always talk about with comedy now. All things in that bin are truly created equal. Nothing is allowed to be removed. Nothing can claim offense. And there is no immunity. Murder and cancer live side by side with aluminum siding. Dancing with the Stars, Crib Death, Rocky Dennis, and modern jazz. Most importantly, that bin also contains his own divorce, deep insecurities, and the death of his father. Nothing is off limits. Yes! Testify, brother.
Yeah. Jimmy, and that's why I say Jimmy knows me so well. And I do believe every single thing, because people ask me all the time, do you have a line? Do you have a limit? Is there something you would never talk about? And the answer is no. There is always an opportunity to make something funny, whether it's funny because it's so uncomfortable. And I don't know where that went, why people don't realize that that's been a part of comedy forever. Something is really uncomfortable. You're laughing your ass off.
Absolutely.
Why? I don't know. Yeah. But it's just the way it is. And that has been taken like, you can't joke about that. No, you can. And we do.
I think the most offensive words in the English language are actually too soon.
Too soon?
Or I'm offended. Like, who cares? Get
or
over
triggered.
yourself.
Triggered.
Triggered.
Who cares? Get over yourself.
Triggered.
Yeah, that triggered me.
Go to your beanbag room at your non-gender college.
I have a new thing now on the text line when we mention a word, just a word that could be an offensive word. And I just say, it's my new thing. I go sell it somewhere else. It's not going to work here. Your offense isn't going to work here.
Yeah,
Go
people
sell
are
crazy
addicted.
somewhere else. We're
They're
all full of-
addicted to offense.
Yes.
They're addicted to being offended. They love showing other people how offensive you are. You got a person that never would have seen what you said or did or heard it or anything, read it, and then another person has to go, look at this.
Yeah.
Now, isn't the onus on that person for offending the other person, not me?
Right.
But they'd love to show people. Now, be outraged with me about this guy, and hopefully we can get him thrown off the planet.
Well, this is an awesome conversation. Very funny. Let's stop it and go to break.
Thanks, Ope.
Brought to you by the all-new 3-row 2019 Subaru Ascent, featuring all-wheel drive. I hate myself. Someone kill me. Love is now bigger than ever this fall. Ugh.
Yeah, that's right. You'll more with Gropey and Manthony.
Matty and Nick, weekday afternoons 3 to 7 on WAAF.
Afternoon, everybody. No! It's your old pals, Matty and Nick, belly on up to the bar with us. Tonight at the bar, Anthony Cumia, who used to hang out here all the time, but then he got kicked out of the bar because a very lame bouncer didn't want him here anymore.
That is true.
But there's new management now, and welcome back home, my friend.
This is awesome. Yeah, back at AAF after many, many years.
Indeed.
Yeah, and to regular traditional broadcast radio.
And you haven't said one offensive thing. It's
No,
lovely.
I do other radio shows, and I do some of the Fox News shows. Last night I did Kennedy on Fox Business, so you got to be cool.
Kennedy's
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I'd like to do Kennedy, too.
Yeah.
Ooga.
I'd like to shoot that Kennedy in the head. You know what I mean.
There's a campaign I'd like to end.
Yeah, right.
Like
Too
to
soon.
mess up that trunk.
I like how we venerate them around here, and there's transcripts of them yelling racial epithets around the Get that blank out of here! Why do we hold them up?
They're just they're royalty.
And comedian Will Noonan joining.
Hey, how are ya?
Too soon.
Good.
dude.
Yeah.
Too soon.
Why are you running away from me?
If you would like to ask Anthony a question, the framing again, a question. Don't just say, "I remember when you did this bit," because we all remember. But if you have a
It
question-
literally was the remember
Some
when
of
you
us
did the
remember.
bit line. And I get it.
Yeah.
It's WAF. We're all Anthony's friend. We get it.
We remember.
617-764-WAF. But why don't we go ahead with the show, and Anthony, you can crack wise. We're going to do a little news now.
I'm in.
Tired of the same old radio news?
Look what has happened to us.
We can't even do it.
All we have to do is read a tweet. Everyone's read it by now.
Well, let's do news our way.
Do the story.
Stiz supplies the sound. Matty and Nick come up with the story.
Hey, in a related story, I manscaped today and I clipped my scrot.
It's time for That's News to Us.
All right, Stiz, what do you got?
All right, you guys ready?
Yep, we're
I'll
ready.
play the sound. You tell me why is it in the news.
Okay.
I just realized the last 1 year. No, he does not deserve it. If at all, see, Messi does not deserve it. Ronaldo does not deserve it.
I know what this is.
Give it for what? Give it for what? Give it for what? See how confused
What do you think it is?
This is audio of
Wow.
when Anthony took that picture of that girl.
Oh my God!
Wow.
I knew it sounded familiar.
I'm sorry.
Oh, that was it.
No, Stiz says
I was
incorrect.
like, no. I actually thought that's what you hear in your mind when you step onto the New York City subway.
Are those two of Trump's handlers arguing if he should toilet tweet or not?
What is that?
Someone trying to claim their $10 million from that Nigerian scamster.
He's actually
No,
close.
ballpark.
Close?
Closer than- yeah.
Really?
It's.
I knew I should have sent him my social.
I know.
What's in the news right now that could be? Two people
What was-
arguing. It's got to be.
last 1 year. No, he does not deserve it. If at all.
Oh, you know what?
You
Two guys trying to figure out if that Walmart.com Black Friday thing is good online now. Yeah?
I know what it is. No. They're online. They're pre-ordering Permanently Suspended.
Oh,
Anthony's new book.
thank
And
goodness.
they found out that it was sold out.
I did hear a couple of Alexas in there.
Alexa, order the book.
All right, you guys ready?
All right.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, that is Nigerian sports announcers.
Oh, so it was Nigerian.
Yeah, you were
calling a game.
How did you?
You know,
how did you know it wasn't Dutch people?
I'm fluent in Nigerian.
You don't normally pronounce it Niger. That's weird.
No, it's
Take it easy. Take it easy.
Right?
Everyone stop. Everybody stop.
We've been good.
Sorry,
Right.
I'm sorry. Sorry.
Come
sorry.
on. Yeah,
I'm sorry.
how do you know the temperature in that pool unless you put at least like one toe in there? Just one toe.
I could feel Patrice O'Neill
wait,
watching
country.
us.
I'm a racist.
So wait, that was Nigerian sports radio?
Yes, that was Nigerian sports radio.
Oh, I've listened to that all day
Right?
compared to Boston
They are
sports
into
radio.
it, yeah.
Yeah.
What they must have been arguing about football, soccer. They like soccer.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Beautiful
big
game.
time.
Soccer, yeah.
I just realized the last one yet. No, he does not deserve it.
And you should see their arm motions. They're flailing around.
This went viral?
Yes, it is everywhere right now.
A lot of things go viral there.
I would listen to that 10 times out of 10.
Imagine them
me
calling
too.
a
Just like,
Pats game.
I wouldn't, Mike. I wouldn't start David Price in the clutch. I think he stinks. I think he's overpaid. I wouldn't do it. He's a bum. Tom Brady's in decline. Brady's window is closing, and Belichick should be ashamed for not maximizing his talent.
Sure, the Red Sox won the World Series, but their opponents were weak. Thanks.
Did you sometimes feed Anthony like if Superman feeds off the rays of the sun? Did you almost like reverse Superman and just feed off the negative energy in this town? Because sometimes it is empowering.
Yeah, the good thing is I'm used to it from New York too, because there's a lot of negativity there in certain areas. But yeah, there is just this underlying. I don't understand, because before the Sox started becoming this championship dynasty, that really led to or lent itself to misery here in Boston. And now there's just not as much a reason to be so upset.
Yeah,
especially
right.
about sports.
We don't know what to be angry about now, so
yeah.
we manufacture things. Like what Nick was just imitating is true. Like we've had a bounty of riches in this city, and we argue about like, well, no, Tom Brady really isn't gonna retire. Like, what are we fighting about? We should be enjoying this.
And the Red Sox, like I hear when they're playing, you'll hear the Yankees suck chants still, and it's like, isn't that kind of?
I was at game one. At game one.
Yeah.
Chris Sale retires the first two batters. Third batter, he's got a 2-2 count. The entire stadium, Yankees sucks. First inning of game one of the World Series.
Yeah, I never liked that.
And it's like yelling, "Down with the Kaiser! Down with the Kaiser!" It's ancient history. It doesn't matter anymore. You guys are awesome.
People in this town hang on to things that were significant 30 years ago. Hey, have you heard some of the music we play? And now Whitesnake here on AF.
Hey, Nick.
Aerosmith.
Hey, Nick. We ain't having nothing but a good time. Take it easy. All right. Let's go to Frank. There are a couple questions.
I was so confused for a second.
I hate myself.
The shame is Brady should have 9 Super Bowls.
Carla.
Jesus.
Who is he? Who is he? Who is Stan Lee?
He was one of the creators of Marvel Comics.
Oh, who cares?
Mike Francesa.
Francesa.
You and Francesa ever run in?
Yeah.
Oh, who cares? No, we never actually had a run-in, but we did go to a steakhouse once with a bunch of the show guys from the O&A show. And we saw Mike Francesa's locker. You know these restaurants that have lockers for the celebrities?
Wine
They
locker.
keep wine in there and
So
cigars and
obnoxious.
stuff.
Oh, wow.
We noticed it wasn't locked. It was like kind of a little open. So we opened it up and just cleaned out and drank all of Mike Francesa's wine and smoked his cigars. It was
Nice.
awesome. Yeah. Thank you, Mike.
I'm sure he was completely nice to the staff when he found out his stuff was saved.
Oh, I bet he was very understanding.
Oh, it's okay. Let's go to Frank. Frank has a question for you, Anthony. Go ahead, Frank.
Hey, how you doing, Showbiz?
Hey, Frank.
Hey, Frankie.
Frank.
Anthony, how you doing? My question to you is, any word on whatever happened to Wheelchair Fred?
Oh, my God. Now,
Wheelchair
Wheelchair Fred was a guy obviously in a wheelchair, or the name would be silly.
It'd be great if he wasn't. Just name things about him that aren't.
You know, that's a good idea. Just have a Wheelchair Fred, and then people boggled as to why his name.
You know, Hat Will.
Fred.
Why do you call him Hat Will? Because he never wears a hat.
Never wears one. Well, that's silly then.
Yeah.
So Wheelchair Fred was a guy who had been in an accident, lost his ability to walk, so he was in a wheelchair, and he talked all weird. He was like, "Oh," and we would take him to gigs, and people would love him, and One day though, we brought him up on stage, and I was hammered. Of course, it was an appearance. Why not? And I was like, I got this thing, and the audience like got me all wound up. I was like, I think I could heal this guy and make him walk. so I put my hand on his head, and I'm like, Fred, you are healed with the power in me. You can walk, Fred. You can. And he's like, I can walk.
No.
He slowly pushes himself out of the chair with his arms. His legs are shaking. His little atrophied knees, like looking like a newborn foal, are shaking. He gets himself up. He pulls his arms away from the chair. The audience goes nuts. He's actually standing
Oh my God.
for a split second.
No.
He face plants right in front of the microphone on the stage, and the whole audience goes, oh, and then you start hearing, not cool, man. and me and Opie had to leave. They started throwing stuff at the stage.
For that?
Yeah, they were. Yeah, that's when the audience drew a line.
That was too much. That was too much.
Yeah, I thought I had it.
Yeah, I think that's great.
How about CJ? Go ahead, CJ. You're on with Anthony.
Hey guys, how are ya?
What's up, buddy?
Anthony, whatever happened to Lady Di on the O&A show?
Oh man,
that was Lady Di. It was they were from, and if I may use it's the R word for mentally challenged.
I
wouldn't use it.
Right.
But we called them the R word, Laverne and Shirley. It was two women, Di and her friend, and they.
That's how we pitched this show.
Yeah. Yes. Because one worked at a brewery. And the other one had a real job, and we sent him out to the red carpet for one of the MTV award shows. And it was hilarious. But the one was Di was a real alcoholic, and she just slowly spiraled into oblivion.
Yeah.
But we found out things like her husband got hit by a train. So we constantly were bashing her about just talking to her made me want to jump in front of a locomotive.
No.
And why her husband jumped in front of a train. It was better than having to go to bed with her, and just horrible things. But we heard from her maybe a couple of years ago, or heard about what was happening to her. Apparently, funny story, she has dementia and thinks she's 20-something in the Navy again. So
she's
God
happy.
bless.
She's in her 20s.
Yeah.
Wet brain. I believe.
Ahoy,
Wet brain.
mateys.
Wet brain.
I love the story of you guys taking and Keith the cop was instrumental in this. You guys took a bunch of homeless people and you gave them $100 each.
And burned them.
And you brought them to the what else are you gonna do? Right? and brought them to the most fancy mall in the world.
Short Hills Mall in
Short
Jersey,
Hills Mall, and set them loose in the
Fancy mall in
stores.
the world.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then fans showed up and
Set
started
'em
giving
loose.
them money, right?
Yeah, we had like 1,000 fans were there giving these homeless people. We had about 9 or 10 of them giving them money to go shop, and the store owners. It's like Armani and stuff. They're horrified. They're pulling down the gates like they're closed, and the audience is chanting, "Let them shop, let them shop." And they had to lift the gates up. And here are these homeless guys that the smell was beyond all reason.
Right.
And you have some guy trying on an Armani suit jacket that you know they have to now throw away. A guy trying on new boots, so they had to take their shoes off. They try on the boot, they take it off. There's 3 toes still in it.
The club feet with like the like thick frosting, thick toenails. The whole store smells like a fatberg in the London sewer system.
It was, and it was so bad. But the good part is they did get jackets for the winter and boots and
That's what's beautiful
blankets
about it.
and things. So it did do some good, but it did good in that kind of O&A we hated everything way. So yeah, it worked. It worked. It
It's
was
such
a
a
lot of
good
fun.
middle finger too to those store owners.
Oh
who shut
yeah,
the gates,
they,
you know what I mean?
Well,
they looked like awful people.
Yeah.
Well, the spirit still lives because we tried to give listeners beer once and almost got suspended.
Yeah, that's true.
That'll
That is
work.
true.
That'll happen.
Radio's
Keep it for
cool.
yourself.
All right, more with Anthony. It's usually an expression, but in this case, it's true. My stomach hurts from laughing. This has been an unbelievable night with Anthony Cumia. This half hour, of the Matty Nick program brought to you by Guillermo's Market. Before you stuff your turkey, actually, you know what? Could you read this?
Oh, I would love to.
Anthony, read this copy. Cold read here. Cold read with Anthony Cumia. Here we go. You're not going to believe this.
Yes, brought to you by Golemos?
Galemos.
Oh, Galemos. I don't know what that is. Galemos Market, but they're great.
Yeah, they are.
Before you stuff your turkey, stuff your mouth with a big, delicious sausage. The kielbasa from Galemos, right?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Market. All the best meats at Galemos Market, 43 Millbury Street in Worcester.
Let's swallow some sausage. A lot of people want to ask about on the text line. We've got like 10 texts mentioning the, I guess we should bring it up, your thoughts when the Sex for Sam thing was going down.
Oh,
and
yeah.
as it was happening, what was going through
down.
your mind. Did you know?
Listening live. I listened live that day.
Did you know?
Did
you know we're dead?
Yeah. I afterwards, during it, you just want to push it as far as you can.
Yeah.
With the type of show we were doing, you needed to outdo your last stunt.
Right.
And this we had been doing for years. It was a simple contest. Couples would go out to landmark locations in New York City that was on a list and have sex at these locations. And a spotter, who was either someone from our show or a stand-up comic, would follow them around to confirm that they did it.
Right.
When they did, they would call up and go, okay, we're here at the Empire State Building, and this couple number 3 is doing this, its position or what have you.
Right.
And church was on the list. No one was ever supposed to really go there. It was there to be outrageous. Will you put church on the list? Whoa, that's crazy.
That's worth 10 points.
Right.
Breakfast
So
for dinner.
we get a call from Paul Mercurio, a comic, and he goes, "We're here at St. Pat's, and this couple's having sex. He's doing the 2-point conversion, which was if you spun the girl around.
Gotcha.
It was a
Gotcha.
two-pointer. So he goes that. So
Right.
me
So
and
he's
Opie-
trying to hike the ball.
Right. Exactly.
It was like when Tommy and Billy are 3rd and inches at the goal line.
Exactly. So
you see, he's trying to sneak his penis.
We ran out of euphemisms.
I'm Jim Cook. I brew Sam Adams so people can play hide the meat sword in churches.
Jim, get out of the studio. Get out of the studio.
just leave right
I've
now.
been drinking my double IPA for over 29 years.
Speaking of hops, I'm gonna hop in this cab and never come back. It was crazy. So I had a dump button in front of me. Opie had one in front of him. We had dump buttons everywhere. So I got my finger on it, and I look at Opie, and he looks at me, and we're kind of, for that split second, we could have just eliminated the whole call.
Do you wish you could go back in that moment? Or?
Yeah, there were times where it's like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Hindsight.
Were you married to her at one point? Hindsight.
Yeah. We neither of us obviously hit the dump button, and it went out. And right after it, we were like, oh, that's not going to be good.
Yeah.
That's not going to be good. Because they stayed, got arrested, and then once that happened and the press got wind of it, you know how they blow things out of proportion. Here's what happened. They were kind of doing something with pants down in a vestibule outside of St. Pat's. Wow. But I literally had people that came up to me and go, so I hear you and Opie were having sex in St. Pat at the Vatican? I'm like, what? What? So it gets blown out of proportion, and subsequently we're fired. But again, one of the many times I was permanently suspended.
The name of the book.
I can't believe they didn't walk that back, though.
Right?
I'm surprised that they just didn't, just that 2 weeks, a month, or whatever. I mean, that would have hurt ratings too much. But, come on. Considering all the stuff that's been said, there was no hate speak in there. There was no vitriol. It was, okay, listen, it was like the biggest church in Midtown Manhattan, and it's considered like one of the high holy places
Arguably
of
in the country.
Yeah.
The biggest Catholic church.
Catholics love sex, too, more than any other religion. Catholics.
They're very guilty.
They're
and
so into it.
As a Catholic, I'm triggered right now. So.
Yeah. I don't like to say the word.
Sex. More with Anthony. Oh, no. Hold on.
We did. Damn it. We had a chance. We had a chance to pay homage to you at the altar, and we blew it.
That's when I hung up on you by accident when you called in the show last
Oh,
time.
right.
It was an accident.
Yeah, I'm sure. I know.
You are an S show in a dumpster fire, Matty. Fresh off the news.
Fresh off the news, CNN, they call them slug lines in the business or lower thirds, says literally S show, but they say the word.
It says the lower third says, because last year the S-hole country line made it okay to start putting the S-bomb on TV because their quotes, Kellyanne Conway's husband calls Trump administration, quote, an S show in a dumpster fire, which I think is next level awesome.
It's really
to be able to do an S show in a dumpster fire.
Yeah.
S show.
We've seen dumpster fires. We've
Well,
seen
I
that
can't
type
say
of show.
You've just sat through one for the last 4 hours.
Right.
Awesome.
The text line has been doing a damn fine job. 97-107. The love fest pours in, continuing for Anthony Cumia. But my favorite in particular. Hey guys, can you shout out to me and my wife with double D's sitting in the car waiting? I'm going to make her sit in the car and wait until you guys give her a shout. I mean, for a man who wants to be loud and proud about his wife with double D's.
My God.
God bless you.
That's he's bragging.
Yeah, he is. You know what? And I would humble brag too.
Yeah.
Wonder if he wrote his own wedding vows.
978. Hey, Anthony, just want to say thanks for all the laughs. I was only about 16 at the time I started listening, but for me, those years were my golden age of radio and probably the reason I still listen to hacks like Matty and Nick.
Thanks,
Thank
you.
That's you know what? No, that's perfect. That's perfect. Like an actual compliment with a backhanded compliment.
Yes. Well, you're welcome. It was a lot of fun. If it was a girl, I probably would have been in trouble back then. But stop, everybody.
Does that bother you at all when people say like, "Oh, I was younger when I like"? Is that like a bad thing when someone says like?
No,
'cause you
it's
still
that
do
whole
real cool
time
stuff.
thing.
I know, but
you know what are you going to do? The option is you're dead.
Yeah.
you know?
So but it is weird when you see people come up and they have some gray hair and it's like I was in junior high when I listened to you. It's like what the hell? I hope that's premature aging.
I've opened for guys and I've been like, man, I've been a fan of yours since I was 11, and they kind of like, oh, geez, thanks, you know.
Thanks. Yeah. Well,
You know.
things happen. Time ticks away.
I'm feeling it. Yeah.
It is depressing because all the kids in television and radio, like literally, are half our ages.
Yeah.
But they're like peers because you're working with them.
Yeah.
And it's surreal to work with like a 28-year-old when you're 46 and you're like peers.
There are benchmarks that you go through as you get a little older, and there's like people on TV that are now younger than you, and then the first cop you get pulled over by that's younger than you. That's kind of like, why you wet behind the ears, kid?
Yeah.
Back in my day.
When they start to say an athlete's career is over and he's younger than you.
Younger than you, that's huge.
Like,
the president. Right, but maybe not this one, but like Obama, I think was exactly my age, so that was kind of weird. You're like, I don't like that, so I like Trump in there now, 70-something.
Do you have a? Do you subscribe? Are you an atheist? Do you subscribe to any faith? Or?
No, I wouldn't say I'm an atheist. I think there's probably something going on.
Yeah.
But because everything's just too weird. How the hell you concoct these goopy machines that actually work?
Right.
Like a machine
Bananas?
of goop. Yeah.
I always think of that when I eat a banana. I'm like, there's a God. Come on, look at this.
Yeah, look at this thing. It's amazing.
Well, I told Nick my cheeseburger theory of like the fact that cheeseburgers taste like they do, and broccoli tastes like it does, but broccoli is good for you and cheeseburger can kill you.
Right.
That, to me, tells you there's order in the universe. It's a big test. Why can't we just eat stuff that tastes delicious with no consequence?
Everything amazingly delicious is terrible, right?
So that tells me there's a test going on.
Well, you can eat whatever you want unless you just don't want to feel your feet. Or you just want to be a reason why healthcare costs so damn much.
And why are drugs, which are fun, and alcohol, why do you pay a price? Speaking of which, we did get some texts asking about your partner, Artie Lange. What's the latest?
I was doing a show with Artie Lange for about 8 months. The book ends off with me still doing a show with Artie.
Yeah, right.
Well, the update on that, the abridged version, he was working with me for about 8 months. He was my sidekick, my partner on the Anthony Cumia show, and he's got his demons, man. It's tough. He's gone through so many rehabs and trying to get things together. Everyone that talks about him goes, he's the greatest guy in the world. My God, I love Artie. He's so funny. He's a great guy. And he is all those things. He's also a drug addict.
Yeah.
And it's very difficult to work with a drug addict. I didn't have a problem with him. It was the things like not showing up kind of stuff. And a lot of stretching the truth as far as why you're not there and things. So while he's hilariously funny, and it was a great 8 months to work with him, we just had to kind of go separate ways at that point. Yeah. He's amazing on the show Crashing on HBO. Yeah. If you see him live, he's hilariously funny. He was some of the greatest moments on the Howard Stern show for many years. So I love the guy, but, and I wish him the best. He's going through a lot right now, and hopefully, I know so many comics. Like Dave Attell was the one when I first got Artie on board on my show. Dave goes, "Oh, welcome to the wonderful world of Artie Lange. Enjoy the 3 a.m. phone calls." Like, oh, God, he's right. This is like in no time it started, and we love him, but, it's like a family member with that kind of problem. There's nothing you can do about it.
And the worst part is having to decide, like Howard had to at a certain point, and then you did as well, when you have to, like, I want to help you. I want to continue to do everything I can within my power as like a comported, upright, reasonable human. But you also have to, like, stop cutting off the quality of your life and cut them out and just say, like, I can't help you anymore.
It's impossible.
It's got to come from you, or it's not going to happen at all.
Yeah, unless that, and it's so, like, it's one of those things that you hear time and time again. It's up to them. They're the ones that have to do it for themselves. DePaula was another one when I first got started. I was like, well, you worked with Artie. What's that like? He goes, you'll find out. You'll find out.
Yeah,
they had a sports radio show together.
That didn't even make it 8 months, I don't think.
No, I don't think.
It has to come from them, right, Stiz?
That's right, Matty.
Let's go to the Framingham Ford studio line. And by the way, if you didn't get a message into Anthony, if you didn't get your question through, the phone lines have been lit up. You can leave him a message, our generic radio voicemail. You still might be able to squeak a one or two in, 617-779-5454. Let's go to Bud. Bud, you're on with Matty, Nick, Will Noonan, and Anthony Cumia.
Hey, guys. Shower Bears.
Shower Bears, buddy.
So how do you feel now that cannabis is legal? Now that here in Mass, since you've left the radio station many years ago when it wasn't legal, now it is legal, and I had made a strain for Matty and Nick, which they absolutely liked.
It was fabulous.
He did make our own strain of weed, which
he did.
I don't partake in, but
it is.
It was really
odd.
good.
The way weed has just become, and the fact that it's still illegal in certain places is stunning to me.
Yeah.
First of all, alcohol could possibly be the worst thing you could put in your body.
Seriously.
And I look forward to it every evening. But weed, it's like, I remember growing up buying a baggie of weed with half sticks and seeds, and it was terrible and gave you a headache. And now it's coming in packages like heat pressed plastic, like a toy, and it's great, and
and it looks like candy you would buy at a store. Like, oh wow, Paw Patrol weed candy,
edibles, things like that. I was hanging out with Joe Rogan last week, and he was drinking weed beer, like beer with weed diffused in it, and it was apparently a lot in it. So halfway, we get done with the show, and we're talking, and out of nowhere he goes, "Whoa, that's hitting me right now, right about now," and it was hilarious. Like, but it's available in so many different forms, and it's so different than rolling a joint on an old Yes album. And
hey, Molly Hatchet, their artwork is great. You want another doobie?
Dude, roll a joint and just look at the guy with the hatchet.
Dude, he's got a hatchet.
Is that Molly Hatchet?
This is great.
Yeah.
All right, more with Anthony Cumia. You might as well stay till the end of the show.
I'm here. Why not?
Love it.
Cool.
Matty and Nick, weekday afternoons 3 to 7 on WAAF.
Wow.
All right, Ant.
Oh.
It's Opie Light. I don't know, bro.
Oh, God. Bruh,
I don't know.
Brother man.
Brother man.
Brother man.
He's doing well.
What
They're
do you
not
think?
related, but they do be brothers.
Oh, God.
You just give me the deuce chills.
Yeah.
More like
That's my
Eskimo
favorite.
brothers, right?
My favorite opiism. They do be brothers.
Yeah.
Radio history made today as Anthony Cumia, the great, the one and only, comes back home. The prodigal son returns to WAAF. His book, Permanently Suspended. You can pre-order it now wherever fine books are sold. Great Christmas gift.
It does make a great stocking stuffer. Call now.
Nick Stevens, of course, Stiz Grimy pressing all the buttons. Our own favorite comedian, Will Noonan, is with us.
Hey.
And we are just having a blast. There's nothing else to say. And the text line's loving it. The phones are loving it. But I should have opened up the phones more, but we're just hogging you because we just...
It's great.
Just want
it's
more.
very conversational, nice and fun. Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Right?
I love it.
How radio...
I love it.
How radio could be.
love it.
All right,
I love it.
That being said, let's go to another song.
You guys like Zeppelin?
What's in the news? Hey, here's this unusual story. Here's my take. Well, it's odd because mine's opposite of that.
Anthony, I don't know if you heard, but a woman in Florida
Florida man.
attacked by a gator. And she fought it off with a golf club.
And apparently they cut the gator open and found some of those ballads. Am I right, people? Am I right? Oh!
Couple pregnant chads and preggers.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
So, Ann, how is life now?
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I got to be honest. Like I was doing traditional terrestrial radio, and then I went to satellite radio, but it was still pretty much the same format. You do 4 hours a day,
Right.
5 days a week. I decided with no research whatsoever as to what day part I should do or how long the show should be. I just figured I'm going to do a show from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. 4 days a week. And it's like, well, how'd you decide that? I'm like, I can be up by 4. And by 6, I'm ready to go out and party. And then I don't have to be up until 4 p.m. the next day. And I want the permanent 3-day weekend.
Oh, you built in a 3-day weekend,
I
right?
built in
4-day
what
weekend.
have
5 days
I
a
I've been
weekend.
advocating.
Since day
I have
one.
been advocating since day
Seriously,
one.
yes.
The American workforce should
Yeah.
switch to the 4-day work week because,
We need
and
to.
studies say it would be more productive. I would happily work 10, 12 hours, 4 days, knowing I have 3 days off to do nothing, get hungover, hang out with my
12's
kids,
a
all
little-
3.
12's a
It's
little-
Right,
great.
let's not
10.
So I get done. I take the beautiful Long Island Railroad out to Long Island, and then I sit and play Battlefield 5 or Call of Duty Black Ops 4 or Red Dead Redemption 2, which is out now.
I want
so
that so
I am
bad.
just when you if anyone thinks I've matured, I've gotten older, but matured. No, I play video games, I drink cheap beer, and date even cheaper girls.
Well, I was going to
When
ask
does this
that.
get unfun?
I know. Can we just build the statue of you
Right.
now
Yeah.
and put it outside? I was going to follow up on that. You chronicle in your book, you've had, to put it delicately, a tough time with the ladies.
Well, I'm not good in relationships.
Anyone now in your life?
Yes.
Awesome.
I have a girl now. We've been together a couple of
Kellyanne
years.
Conway.
Kellyanne Conway. You've seen my tweets about a certain dumpster fire and a certain show going on
She was
inside
talking
of
about
it.
you.
Yeah, no, and she's cool. She sits there and plays video games right in front of me while I'm playing video games on a computer at the living room table. So we play a lot of video games. It's
Fantastic.
awesome.
Yeah.
And it's that to me is great. Then we'll go out to dinner and then come home and play more video games.
You also have a bunch of nice cars too, right? I forgot that.
I like cars. I've gotten a lot of tickets with cars. I think when I was up here, I was getting tickets too. So it's something that has never stopped. I got 2 100+ mile an hour
Ooh.
tickets,
Oh, yeah.
which
Wait,
they
wait.
could arrest you for.
Nice.
What about Keith the cop? Hook him up, man.
Keith
Yeah.
Keith the retired cop? No, he does a good job as best he can. But nowadays in New York,
Yeah.
once you get that ticket, once they write it, there's
Done.
it's not like the old days. Hey, O'Reilly, can you scrunch that? I've got it right here. And they just crunch up the ticket and it's gone. Now it goes right into the computer, so you actually have to go to court and get everything taken care of.
Yeah.
So I've taken my foot off the pedal a little bit. Winter's different, so I don't take the car on the
How
road.
about like you're getting around your level of fame? Do people still?
I still get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. It's not when we were here
Yeah.
in Boston, it was amazing, like crazy. And then NEW in New York, but of course, it's leveled out and
Sure.
gotten to the point where I'm not annoyed all the time. There was one time though, I was at where the hell was it? What's that place? A Tavern on the Green in Central Park. Tavern on the Green. It was around Christmas time, and I'm sitting at a table with a bunch of friends.
Homeless people.
A bunch of homeless people. Yeah. And a girl comes up, and she goes, "Oh, could I take a picture? Or could you take a picture?" And I'm like, "Yeah, okay." So I get up, and I'm like looking at my friends and everything. Her and her boyfriend get in front of the Christmas tree, and they hand me a camera. Like out of nowhere.
Oh, no.
So I take the picture, and I turn around. They're all laughing their ass because I got up like, "Excuse me, I gotta be cool to the fans and take a picture."
Happens all the time.
Yeah, take a picture. I'm like, okay, I'm done.
That's a good
great.
dose of humility.
Yeah, humility. Exactly.
How much more fun though is it to be able to work within the new evolving business model of you're your own boss now?
Oh,
about
it's so good.
You set your rules, and people used to come to you because you would push the boundaries. It felt like there were always rules or limits to be broken. And so now it's more like, all right, well, instead of listening to me have to do what someone else says, if you're a fan, come follow me over to Compound Media.
Yeah.
I'm doing my own thing over here. And it's cool. If you don't want to be a part of it, that's cool. But we're having this party here, and you're welcome if you pay.
It's so it's a brand new experience, and I've been doing it for years.
Right.
Now we've been up and running for over 4 years now over there. But it's you realize the only restraint you have is the same as in life. You probably shouldn't kill people. You know that. So you don't do it. So on the air, there's certain things, like I said, nothing's untouchable in context, but it's not just for the sake of being outrageous, you're outrageous, but you get the opportunity to speak so openly and honestly that it's refreshing. And I really do that. And the people seem to appreciate it. Sometimes we get complaints, which is the weirdest thing. It's a subscriber-based thing. It's like, you don't have to subscribe.
Do you ever just call yourself into your own office for old time's sake?
Yeah.
You've gone too far, Cumia.
Well, we have some a pretty goofy cast of characters as periphery. We always have, like the wheelchair Fred guy, and we have this guy Bobo, who's a little on the spectrum, I guess. So we've dubbed him the HR department and in charge of all complaints. So if someone complains about what's done, they actually DM him on Twitter, and some people think they're really going to get me in trouble. When I was tweeting before I was permanently suspended from Twitter, I would tweet and get people just bashing me. You are a horrible person. I can't believe you're on the air. You should be fired. And I'm like, I post apologies. I'm like, please, I need this job so bad. And then the fans get involved, and they'll start going, here's who you call Bobo. He's in charge of HR. And I'm like, no, I need this job. I've been in so much trouble before. And it gets into this big Twitter like play that all the listeners are involved in and everything. It's a lot of fun.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, do you have to suffer in language like we do in the after? Like, do you have to do the weather? Do you have to do sponsored weather reads?
I don't have to. I choose to. I want to inform the people as to the weather out there. No, it's we touch on interesting things in the news that happens. Right. A lot of just lifestyle stuff, and then my partner Dave Landau, he took over for Artie. Dave Landau's a comic from Detroit, a funny guy. He's great to hang out and just talk with, and we'll sit and talk about growing up in Detroit and New York and girlfriends, wives, whatever. And it's so much real human experiences to make really funny. So we don't necessarily have to hit on everything Trump is doing, like the news. Yeah. People get a little fatigued, I think, at this point with everything.
That started a year ago.
Not true.
Yeah.
I am really absolutely fascinating every day.
I will give you that. Because the news covers you constantly.
I know all the news stories. I'm the best.
You are all the news stories.
Trust me. Believe me.
Trust.
Yeah,
Should they trust you? What a stupid question.
What a stupid question.
Is that the greatest?
Oh my God.
What a stupid question. It's the president.
The leader of the free world, just dressing people down on national television.
Yeah. One of our claims to fame with the president, we used to have him on the O&A show. He'd call in and discuss things that he was doing with The Apprentice and his battle with Rosie O'Donnell at the time. And so we called him and set up an interview. But we didn't say that's what we did. We wanted it to sound like Trump was just calling in.
Right.
So Opie actually said, "Hey, Donald, thanks for calling in." And he goes, "I didn't call. You guys called me. You called me." And then there was something in the Post or the Daily News about it, and Trump got on another show, and he's like, "Oh, Opie and Anthony, those two slobs. They're slobs."
Oh, my
Slobs.
God.
And I'm like, that is the most awesome thing now. The President of the United States once called me a slob. I couldn't be happier.
My favorite thing he does now is when he tries to be like emotional and like, tender Trump, I call it. And
Tender Trump.
Our soldiers have sacrificed so much. And that's when he always messes up and says, do we have that? Do we listen to this?
United States.
United States.
Seamless cooperation between our militaries is really just vital.
I know her. Military. Back in the 40s.
Half Vicodin and half loose dentures.
I understand things. I comprehend very well.
I am so sensitive.
The sensitive.
I love it.
Maddie, do sensitive Trump. Go.
No, Rocco. We had a plan.
Go. Little Rocco loves that character.
Talk about it. He's got. Come on, biggest brain Trump. Do it. Come on.
Do it.
Wait to hear Maddie do it, Trump. Go ahead, Maddie. We're going to go to the bathroom for 20 minutes. I love you, Rocco.
I mean, come on.
Guys,
we live in a day and age where literally, like, a bad Bond villain is creating Moonraker. Like we're building a spaceship military force.
Space Force. Isn't it hilarious during the rallies? You're listening and you go, "Oh, cool." The people, and he goes, and you're like, "Oh no, here comes the silly part."
He was doing okay.
Yeah, he was doing okay. And then we go, "Space Force." And you're like, I love the new Space Force movie that's coming out.
Like literally, John Kelly's least two favorite words in the White House have to be off prompter.
Yes.
We are going to build gold-plated rocket ships.
Yeah. When you see him, like his eyes stop squinting and he averts them away from the prompter, you go, "Here it comes."
And then he's like filming. He's like, he'll repeat phrases. He'll be like, "It's so true. It's so true." He's like trying to think of the next thing, but his mind doesn't work that fast.
How about when he did that one bit? Because he got certain bits that he do at all the rallies. Like, "The wonderful men and women of ice." And you're like, and then he do some crowd work. You're not tough enough to be an ice. You don't want to do that job, right, ma'am? Right, ma'am? Where are you from? Any birthdays in the crowd? he's doing crowd work.
He does.
It's the president.
The president is like literally like a Long Island. He is. He's a Long Island open mic comic.
I'll be in Governors in Levittown.
You know what I'm talking about. Now, did you guys all come in the same tractor? Thank you. Thank you. I'll be at Giggles.
Any liberals here? Good, let's talk about it.
Oh, you're the best, man. Oh, my God. This is big. All right. I think we got one more break, right?
Until we're saying goodbye after this.
All right. Say goodbye to Anthony with us.
Yes.
Stick around. This has been Chad and Toby, NPR Boston. Our guest this show, Anthony Cumia, former Shock Jock. Anthony, do you think that you ever crossed the line?
Well, at times I had some regrets, but no, I don't think I did cross the line. By the way, I'm an author now, so.
Oh, that's right.
Please.
That's right.
By the way, today's program brought to you by Genderall. Just one simple pill, and whatever gender you used to associate with will be gone in no time at all. Genderall.
The Boston Public Library will be having a poetry slam tonight at 7.
This program runs on donations from idiots like you.
I want you to go do an NPR interview.
Oh, my God.
I just think that would be great.
I would fall asleep. Yeah, you hear those. The whole sound is different. It's like that really bassy
Their mics
low
are
puts you right to sleep.
A lot of lip clacking.
Yes, yes.
You know?
You can always tell the relative level of hydration.
Yeah, everyone sounds parched.
Yeah, exactly.
Jim and Marjorie should have him on. I remember Mike Judge tells a great story about he was like an intern for a bluesman, like a legendary bluesman.
Bluesman.
They took him to an NPR interview, and the interviewer's like, "Muddy Joe, do you feel like you learned from different cultures as a black man and learning from different cultures?" And he's like, Yeah, y'all got some food up in here. I'm hungry. He's like coming down from a heroin high, you know.
I've always wanted to know. 2 Chainz. Did the struggle.
Yeah, yo.
God. Yeah.
Anthony, my God, we can't thank you enough, man.
Thank you guys. I
Yeah.
love this. It was an opportunity to come back to the first real radio job I had. WAAF. It's amazing. I appreciate it. And believe me, anytime, man, anytime I'm in Boston, I would love to come back.
And I just want to say on a personal note, like that note you sent me really did make a huge difference. And I think you're actually really underrated as a comedic mind.
Well, thank you, sir.
And every time, like a show like you had, I remember Chris Robinson one time for the Black Crows talking about trying to sing in the Black Crows was like
finally, we got the Black Crows.
Yeah.
Great story.
There it is.
Thank God.
Wait,
Thank God. No, you've got 3 minutes left. Shoehorn in aliens and golf, and it's completely you.
Great story.
Jesus, mercy and fries.
I am making a great point. He said that trying to sing in the Black is like is a forest, and you're trying to like get your voice up through the forest of sound.
Yeah.
And when you guys were jamming,
Cool, boring story.
It's a Japanese suicide forest. Give me a break.
it was your laugh, Anthony, that I always listen for.
Seriously.
This in that jock just threw himself in front of a
F
train.
you.
Are you still
my
doing
God.
the Opie impression? Or?
Oh my God, this is terrible.
Oh my God.
He's being a sincere, nice guy.
The people in the California wildfire are the lucky ones.
Guys, we got to go to break. I want to drop an F-bomb so bad right now. I want to drop with all my might.
Friends. That's the F-bomb.
I love it. Yes.
The thing is, all those years that I was searching for my own happiness, I was actually.
I saw one set of footprints, Aunt, and that wasn't just me. You were carrying me.
with me the whole time.
I saw real deep footprints with half a foot, and it was Rocco.
It's true. Even though you're not here, I'll never walk alone.
Oh my God, this is so
Wow.
bad. You guys are so mean to Matty here. Is trying to be a little sincere and have a moment.
We got it one time. Yes, one time. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. It happened.
It happened.
I was waiting.
I dropped an F-bomb.
I was waiting.
It happened.
All right, now the show is real.
Wow. I can't believe I did that.
I can't believe you came back.
Because I was being real.
You got real, man.
I was being real, man.
Real up in here.
Oh, my God. Well, no, I do remember. You were a kid. You were a very young guy and working with Rocco. And I'm just really like, I'm happy for you. Because a lot of those guys just end up, at a car dealership or dead. So, job well done. And I appreciate you having me on. This is great.
We love you, man. You know what I did? I just turned into Tender Trump.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
You went off script.
All right. The great Anthony Cumia. Get his book, Permanently Suspended. If you're an AF fan, you can use the coupon code. What was it? Sorry, Keith. What was it? Compound 20. You get 20% off. You're the best, man. Thank you.
Thank you, my friend. Awesome. Thank you
Great
so
job.
much.
That was great.
Everybody.
Great
very
having you,
cool
Anthony.
here.
Hit it,
Thanks,
Stiz.
WAAF.
Wrong.
And of course, could you just we have a goodbye song? You had one job.
One job, Stiz.
Oh, because I know you finally see Dad crying over there because he wants Anthony to hire him away. Leave me here with you in this dump hole.
Try this again.
And thank you. Will Noonan of
Yeah,
all
Will
the
Noonan.
Boston comedians.
Yeah, what do I mean to you, man? I'll be at Nick's in about a half an hour.
Shut
if you
up.
wanna come see me Nick's comedy
Go
stop,
see
you
Will.
know?
He's very funny.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Right.
That means
Time
so much,
memoriam,
man.
but we don't ever saw it.
Hey, and
Will.
I'll be hosting a fundraiser in East Bridgewater tomorrow night because I am the S-hole in the dumpster fire.
I bailed on him.
So
I
who's the real winner here, mother truckers? That's right.
Yeah.
Gonna try to bang everyone's wife in Dallas.
We'll meet again. Don't know when. Because I make her, and she'll. Good time.
You got Skip's D in your hand.
I quit.
Apparently, those people like being in the dark and abortions.
Nobody sings in the shower like my boy.
I do like boy groups. Once again, it was without a doubt the worst show ever.
Thank you, Anthony Cumia. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Stiz. Thank you, Josh Dolan. We will do it again Monday unless North Korea figures it all out. Until then, be safe. God